Hello, wonderful people of the internet. Dive in with us as we explore an often misunderstood yet prevalent issue: addiction. This complex issue touches countless lives, often in ways we least expect. Our aim today is to shed light on addiction, unveiling its harmful effects and how it stealthily weaves itself into the fabric of our society. This journey isn't just about knowing what addiction is, it's about comprehending its impact on an individual's life. So, welcome to the abyss. Addiction, a word we hear often, but what does it truly mean? Let's dive into the depths of this elusive term. From a medical standpoint, addiction is a chronic disease that influences the brain and behavior. It's a complex condition, a brain disorder marked by compulsive engagement in rewarding stimuli, despite adverse consequences. It's more than just a voracious craving. It alters the way your brain works, changing your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Addiction isn't just confined within the boundaries of drugs or alcohol. It's a chameleon, taking on various forms and colors. It could manifest in behaviors such as gambling, eating, or even excessive use of the internet. It's a puppeteer that pulls the strings, dictating what you do, when you do it, and how you do it. Think of the brain as a pleasure-seeking radar. It's wired to ensure we repeat life-sustaining activities by associating those activities with pleasure or reward. Whenever this reward circuit is kickstarted, the brain notes that something important is happening that needs to be remembered and teaches us to do it again and again without thinking about it. Addiction hijacks this system, leading to unhealthy behaviors or substance use. You might be wondering, why can't people simply stop? Well, it's not that straightforward. Just as with other diseases like diabetes or asthma, there is no one-size-fits-all cure for addiction. It's not a matter of willpower or morals, it's about the brain being fundamentally rewired through repeated misuse of a substance or engagement in harmful behavior. It's crucial to understand that recovery is possible, but it's a long journey that requires commitment, support, and patience. Each person's journey is unique, and so is the path to recovery. So, to encapsulate, addiction is not a choice or a weakness. It's a powerful disease that affects both the brain and behavior. Addiction, in essence, is the inability to stop using a substance or engaging in a behavior, despite its negative and harmful consequences. It's like being trapped in a maze, constantly running but never finding the exit. But remember, every maze, no matter how complex, has a way out. You may wonder, why do we concern ourselves so much with addiction? Let's gently unwrap the significant impact it has. At the heart of addiction, we uncover a host of physical health concerns. These span from conditions such as liver disease and heart complications in the realm of alcohol addiction, to issues like collapsed veins and infections stemming from drug addiction. The physical impact is often the most noticeable aspect of addiction, yet only the surface of a much deeper issue. Underneath, addiction silently chips away at mental health. It's a challenging cycle. Addiction can be both a root cause and a result of mental health disorders. For example, an individual may resort to substance misuse as a coping mechanism for depression, only to find that the addiction intensifies their mental health battles. It's a tough cycle that's challenging to break free from. The pressure addiction places on personal relationships is another significant repercussion. Trust is delicately worn away, bonds are shattered, and families are fractured. Picture a mother who can't count on her son because he's constantly chasing his next high, or a spouse feeling powerless as they watch their loved one descend into addiction. These are real situations that unfold every day. Then there's the financial burden. Between the money spent on the addictive substance and the decrease in work productivity, addiction can steer individuals towards financial instability. A person might lose their job, their home, and their life savings, all given up in the face of addiction. And we can't overlook the societal costs. Addiction can instigate crime, overload healthcare systems, and drain the productivity of whole communities. It's a societal issue that calls for a collective response. Each example serves as a gentle reminder of the profound impact of addiction. It's not solely about the individual caught in addiction, the repercussions reverberate to families, communities, and society at large. It's a significant impact that we all bear in some form. The influence of addiction expands, touching not just the individual, but those around them and society as a whole. How do you recognize addiction? It's not always as obvious as you might think. Addiction is often like an invisible chain, binding us without our knowledge. It's a master of disguise, often hiding under the guise of routine or habit. But there are signs, subtle clues that can help us identify these invisible chains. First, pay attention to changes. Changes in behavior, mood, or even physical appearance can be indicators. Maybe you've noticed that you're spending more time indulging in a certain activity, or that you're feeling more irritable when you can't. Perhaps you're neglecting responsibilities or relationships in favor of this activity. These can all be signs of addiction. Next, listen to the whispers of denial. Denial is a common partner in crime with addiction. It tells us that we're in control, that we can stop anytime. It convinces us that we're not like those other addicts, that our situation is different. But remember, denial is just another chain keeping us bound. If you find yourself consistently defending your actions or downplaying their impact, it's time to take a closer look. Also, notice the impact on your daily life. Are you constantly thinking about your next fix? Is it affecting your job, your relationships, your health? Addiction has a way of seeping into every corner of our lives, often before we realize it. And lastly, pay attention to your attempts to quit. Have you tried to stop, only to find yourself falling back into old patterns? This cycle of quitting and restarting can be a major red flag. Identifying addiction can be a challenging process. It requires honesty, introspection, and courage. It's about breaking down walls of denial and facing the reality of our situation. But remember, recognizing the problem is the first step towards recovery. Once we've identified the invisible chains of addiction, we can start the journey towards breaking them. So take a deep breath, muster your courage, and take that first step. It's not an easy journey, but it's a worthwhile one. Remember, recognizing the problem is the first step towards recovery. Addiction might seem like a life sentence, but recovery is possible, and there's help available. The journey to recovery may be tough, but with resilience and determination, it can be achieved. It all starts with acceptance. Recognizing and admitting that you have a problem is the first step to recovery. It's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. Next comes detoxification, the process of letting the body cleanse itself of the substance. It's a crucial step but can be challenging due to withdrawal symptoms. Medical supervision can make this process safer and more manageable. Then we move on to therapy, a vital part of recovery. It can be individual, group, or family therapy. Therapy helps you understand your addiction, identify triggers, and develop coping strategies. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, has been particularly effective in treating addiction. Medication is another tool in the recovery toolbox. It can help manage withdrawal symptoms, reduce cravings, and treat co-occurring conditions. Remember, medication should always be used under the supervision of a healthcare professional. Lastly, long-term follow-up is essential to maintain recovery and prevent relapse. Regular check-ins with a healthcare provider, support group meetings, or individual therapy can be part of this follow-up. For further reading, In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts by Dr. Gabor Mate offers a compassionate view of addiction. The Recovering Intoxication and Its Aftermath by Leslie Jamieson is a compelling blend of memoir, cultural history, and literary criticism related to addiction. Clean, Overcoming Addiction and Ending America's Greatest Tragedy by David Sheff is a powerful exploration of the science of addiction and recovery. Recovery isn't just about stopping the substance or behavior, it's about building a new fulfilling life. It's about reclaiming your health, relationships, and dreams. It's about discovering that there's more to you than your addiction. Remember, the path to recovery is a journey, not a race. It's okay to take one step at a time. You are worth the effort. We've taken a deep dive into the world of addiction today, but remember, this is just the surface of a vast and complex issue. Throughout our journey, we've explored what addiction truly is, and the high cost it exacts not just on individuals, but on society as a whole. We've shone a light on the invisible chains that bind those ensnared in the grip of addiction, and how these chains can often go unnoticed until they've grown heavy and burdensome. We've also discussed the hope and promise of treatment and recovery, and the crucial steps that can be taken to begin this journey. Remember, recognizing the problem is the first step towards solution. If you or someone you know is grappling with addiction, reach out, seek help, because no one should have to navigate these stormy seas alone. There are numerous resources and support systems waiting to help you break free from the shackles of addiction. And let's not forget the power of knowledge. We've recommended a few insightful books that can offer a deeper understanding of this complex issue, so do take the time to explore them. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Remember, the secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment on what addiction topic you want us to cover next. Until then, stay safe and healthy.